Oh, let's not show my. Anyway, it's there. It's a bit dark. Hi, guys. Hello. Do I normally bring the lighting upstairs? Let's see if I can get some lighting here. Oh, this one turn on. Sure. Okay. No, I don't think it's working. Hi, guys. Happy Friday. It's nice to see you here. Thank you for joining me on my live. Today, I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know on year 5 11 plus prep. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to join, as I can only see that it's only one person watching at the moment. So I'd wait for a few people to join. Thank you so much for joining. I was going to add something. Okay, so I'll let people watch the replay, and without further ado, I'm gonna get started. I'm so sorry, the lighting is terrible. Okay, let me see. Can I? Why is the lighting so bad? What can I do? Should we do it like that? Can you let me know in the comment section where you're joining us from? Should we leave it like that? The lighting was so good. I'm just checking if people can see me, because the people online, I can't see your comments. I can't see your comments, so I don't know if you're commenting. Okay, Mercy Oluwatoyin is joining us from Kent. Okay, now I can see your comments. I'm sorry, the lighting is terrible. Okay, let's see. I can use Is that better? I think so. Yes. Knowledge does not finish on the earth, and then we'll be looking for it in heaven. If you know, you know. Now I have to find a way to make it stay. All right? Should it be showing to me? No, the other way. The other way. How can knowledge finish? It's still dark, but you take it like that. Hi, April. Hi, Mercy. April, is the lighting manageable? Is it manageable for you? We can't deal with this, your torchlight. I'm sorry. The lighting was so perfect. I didn't bring an external lighting last time I did. I don't know what's up today. But without further ado, I'm going to get started. Thank you so much for joining. Let me know where you're joining us from and what year group your child is in, so that if your child is not in year 5, we can evict you from this live. If your child is not in year 5, please just leave. Just leave this live for us and say bye. Say bye. Let's hear you say bye. Bye. All right. So Mercy is saying the light is all right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mercy. All right, so my name is Tutu Akinyede, and I am the principal at Technics Academy. And today I wanted to share the information I have around 11 plus preparation, especially for year 5s who will be writing their exam this September 2023. So, yeah, Mercy, you're year 4. That's the door. That's messy. I say year 5 parents only. Only. April, your children are in year 2 and nursery. What are you doing here? That's the door. Leave. Please, this is only for year 5. So I'm gonna start with, okay, you said I should accept it. Okay. If you pay me £5, I'll accept you. Put £5 into the comment section. Put £5. Ngozi, you see, these are the people I'm talking about. Year 5 parents in the house. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to start out with, because we have a lot to cover, we're going to start with the difference between all of these schools. Now we're talking about the secondary schools, right? So your child is in year 5, about to write the 11 plus exam, and they'll be going to secondary school soon. So there are 3 main types of secondary school education. Yesterday, Showroom, is nice to see you. As a tech experience that I recognize the name. Ngos is joining us from Slough. Nice to have you here. So there are 3 types of secondary school. The first one, 3 main types. That's not the exhaustive list, but I'll focus on these 3. There's the first one is grammar schools. Grammar schools, your child would need to do an exam to be able to go into a grammar school. The other name for a grammar school is a selective school, because they handpick and select their children if they pass the 11 plus exam, right? Your child can't go to a grammar school if they didn't write the 11 plus exam and if they didn't pass the 11 plus exam. The second school is the comprehensive school. It's also still a secondary school, but your child does not need to write an exam to be able to get a place in a comprehensive school, right? Both the grammar school and the comprehensive school, they're both state-funded schools, meaning they're free. Your child does not have to pay to go to those schools. The third school are the independent schools, aka private schools. These ones, your child would need to pay a fee to be able to go into the private schools. However, a lot of private schools offer scholarships, and some children win scholarships to be able to go, either partly funded scholarship or full 100% scholarship, to be able to go to the private school. So the private school, you need to pay, right? Yes, Bibi is here. Bibi in the house. Right now, my energy is back. Before I started this live, I was so tired. All you moms, you understand now. You know the Friday vibe. I was so tired. I said, who sent me? I could have just let this Friday slide. But you know what? With all of you here right now, I'm so happy to have you here. Look, April is here, Ngozi is here, Messi is here, Bibi is here, Yetunde is here, Ngozi is here. So I'm happy. I'm happy you're here. Thank you for joining. If you haven't said your name and you're here and you're watching, please put your name in the comment section. Let me know where you're joining us from. Kyla is here. She has a child in year 5, right? Thank you so much for joining. So I've just explained the 3 types of schools, of secondary school, the 3 main types. Grammar schools, which your child will need to do 11 plus exam to be able to get into, right? Comprehensive schools, they don't need to do an exam to be able to get into comprehensive school. Both grammar school and comprehensive schools, they're state funded, they're free of charge. Your child will not need to pay a tuition fee to go to the 2 first schools. And the third schools are independent schools, aka private schools, where your child would need to pay tuition to go into it. Okay, so let me know. But we'll be going. I have a lot to cover, so I don't want to yet just say if you have any question, ask. But actually, ask as we go if you have any question. But I have so much to cover. The first thing, first and foremost, know the actual 11 plus exam your child is going to write, because it's not just one window, one hat fits all for 11 plus exam. It's not just, oh, one 11 plus exam. No, there's a different 11 plus exam for Kent. There's a different 11 plus exam for Buckinghamshire. There's a different 11 plus exam for Bexley. There's a different 11 plus exam for Essex, right? So mainly the 11 plus exam is run by the local authority, mainly. However, in some areas, a consortium of schools will come together to run their own 11 plus exam, but mainly is the local authority running the 11 plus exam. Yes, we have 11 plus exam for Manchester as well. So Funke is joining us from Manchester. Welcome, Funke. It's nice to see. Bibi and April, they're forming BFF in my comment section. I beg. This is my comment section. Don't come and be doing best friends of life here. I'm just starting to get jealous. What's all this? You came into my comment section. You are, hi, April. How are you? Well, excuse me. Move your friendship somewhere else. Okay, so my second point is never write any child off, because some parents come to me and ask and say, do you think my child is an 11 plus candidate? Do you think my child should write the 11. Never, ever. No child is dumb. Every child is capable. Every single child is capable of passing the 11 plus exam. If anyone asks you, who told you that? Just tell them it's tutu. Know the content. You, the parents, now know the content and the weighting of the subjects that your child will be writing for their exam. Some write non-verbal reasoning, some don't. So I'll give you an example. Kent Test will test the children on non-verbal reasoning, while Medway, they don't test them on non-verbal reasoning. I'll give you another example. Kent Test will make them, in fact, both Kent Test and Medway Test will make them write, and they'll make them write a creative writing task. However, Kent Test does not mark the creative writing task, but Medway, they will mark it, and 40% of the whole exam is based on the writing task. So can you see how each 11 plus for each area differs? So it's very important that you get yourself familiar with it. And how are you going to do that? Just go to their website. Just type in, if you're in Manchester, like Funke is in Manchester, you just type in 11 plus exam Manchester, and there should be a whole page dedicated to it, and it will break down everything. It'll tell you the test dates, the registration dates, the topics they're going to be tested on, what the paper would look like. It will give you all of the information. The next thing I put down on here is your child can do more than one 11 plus exam. Your child can do one for your actual local area and the neighboring town, right? Sometimes the neighboring town is not too far away. What about Bradford? I don't know, Teresa. I don't know, because I don't live in Bradford. So you need to go onto Google, type in, does Bradford have 11 plus exam? Does Bradford have grammar schools? Right? It's impossible for me to know all of these places. Sorry, Tutu, we're listening. Okay, they're listening. Viviana and April, they're listening. They're behaving themselves now. BFFs. All right. So ignorance is not an excuse. Do your research as parents. Research. Yeah. Nobody knows it all. Like Teresa now, I don't know anything about Bradford because I don't live around that area. So it's your responsibility, Teresa, unfortunately, to go and find out that information. Thank you, yesterday show with me for listening. Not like April and Bibi forming best friends of life. Okay, so the next thing is get subject knowledge in place first before you start testing your child. For the year 5 parents now, it's too late. You should be focusing on testing now. But initially, when you started, it should be getting the knowledge in place first. Like, do they know their long multiplication? Do they know their long division? Do they understand ratio? Do they understand fractions? Is the spelling where it should be? All of those things, key things. So get the subject knowledge in first before you start testing them. So for parents who have children, Mercy, you have child in year 4. Year 4 now should be focused on making sure that every single one of the content, every single one of those topics they understand. And bear in mind, the 11 plus content is a lot more challenging than what they're being taught in school, right? The 11 plus exam is very difficult. Only about 25% of all the children in your local area will get a place in a grammar school. Only about 25% of those kids will get a place in a grammar school. So it's super selective. So they make the exam slightly difficult. And sometimes it's not enough for your child to pass the exam. They have to go far and beyond the pass rate, right? To be able to get a place in the grammar school, because it's highly competitive. Everyone wants their child to go to a grammar school. Now, the next thing that I put down is once subject knowledge is in place, then you can start using exam papers and start working on timings. What do I mean by exam papers? They're free 11 plus exam papers online that you can download. They're ones you can buy on YouTube as well. Not on YouTube, on Amazon. If your child comes to tutoring at Technics Academy, we provide lots and lots of resources for them. But some parents always want to buy additional and stuff like that. This is my advice. Bond online. Get your child signed up on Bond online as soon as possible. Bond online is really good. It's only about £6.50. And they're not paying me for this ad, though. This free ad. It's only about £6.50 a month subscription. And you should be able to cancel it when your child finishes the exam. So the Bond online, they'll be able to access exam papers online, do it online, get instant feedback, and see exactly what they've done wrong. The target grade, mark, percentage you want your child to be getting close to the exam should be 85% or above to be on the safe side. So sit with them, go over the corrections with them. Bond online will break down the corrections, it will tell you what you've done wrong, right? What the child has done wrong. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Next thing I put down is students are mainly tested on maths, English, verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning, and creative writing. 5 subjects. These 10-year-olds, I feel sorry for them sometimes because it's a lot. It's a lot. Some of the questions they ask them is they even like GCSE level. Imagine 10-year-olds doing GCSE level. So their work is very, very challenging. And then, like I mentioned, some local authorities, they take out of these 5 subjects, some local authority might decide to take one out and only do 4 of them. So it's your responsibility to know which one your local authority is going to be testing them on. Have fixed days for preparation and completing homework. We're all very busy. I'm very busy. Bibi is very busy. April is very busy. But we have to be intentional and create time. So, for instance, I'll give you an example with Michelle. Our homework day is Saturday morning. Saturday morning, she gets, doesn't have to be that for you. It's, you know your schedule more than anybody else. So Saturday morning, she wakes up like there's she doesn't do anything. There's no screen time yet. She has to do her techniques, maths and non-verbal homework. So she'll do that. She'll finish that, and then she has the rest of the day to do whatever she like. And then we can check if she has school homework. She has school homework, she'll get it done. Then Sunday morning is English and verbal reasoning. So we already know that. We spoke about it, and that's the expectation. Initially, when we set up this routine, yes, it was hard. Yes, she will act like she's forgotten. Yes, I have to follow up. But now, because I follow up each time, it's not a routine. Even before I say anything, she'll say, Mom, I know, I'll do my homework. My child is already in grade 5. That's fantastic, because this is a year 5 um live. This live is for parents of year 5, Temitope. So the next point I put down is, do not stop extracurricular activities because of exams. Your child need another outlet after spending so much time studying. It can't be studying. They need another outlet to let loose, right? So if they're doing gymnastics, they're doing football, they're doing athletics, they're doing whatever it is, ballet, don't stop it. Please just try and balance things out. Obviously, they shouldn't do too much. So, for instance, Michelle has been waiting for a place on this gymnastics team for a long time. She did gymnastics for very many years, but she had a pause. And then we were waiting to go to another one, but they put us on the waiting list, and she's been waiting for that for a long time. So it came through. Ideally, I don't want her to add anything else to our schedule, but because I know we've been waiting for this place for a long time, so we decided to take it. So we're going to try and balance things out. We're not going to try and take any more on, but at the same time, she's not stopping her piano lessons. She's not stopping her ballet. She's not stopping her swimming classes. We've just added gymnastics on. So she's not stopping any of those things. She's not stopping which one she's doing martial arts as well. She's not stopping that because of 11 plus. If anything, for parents of younger children, start early. When you start early, there's less pressure. We started Michelle maybe from year 3, right? So there's no pressure to cancel one thing for another. Have fixed days of preparation. We talked about that. Correction of wrong questions is very important. This is the key for passing 11 plus exam. And that's why at Technics Academy, we have an homework club. The homework club is when we bring them back to go over corrections, because I know if we don't correct it, they will find that same question in the exam, right? So correction is super important. If you can do anything for your child on this process, is let them do the work by themselves, right? Independently. Let them do an exam practice by themselves, but sit down with them and go over the corrections with them. It's so important. Oh my God. Now, the other thing I put here is register your child for independent school exams as well, not just 11 plus exams. So 11 independent school exams, some of them is for the child just to get into the school. Some of them, it would allow for scholarship award. So again, look for information, look for independent schools, aka private schools around your area. I put lots of notes down. The next one, you don't have to be a tutor or know it all to be able to support your child. Be ready to learn with your child, right? You don't have to know everything, because this is excuses that sometimes parents give, like, I don't understand their maths. It's so difficult. No, you can sit down and encourage your child. In fact, you might not fully understand what they're doing, but the fact that you're there with them is a big support system. So what I would normally do when Michelle is doing her homework and I see that she's a bit discouraged, she'd rather go outside and play or go on her games to play, I'll just sit next to her on the dining table. I have my own computer opened and she'll have hers, and I'll be like, okay, me, I'm going to do some work. I'm going to send a couple of emails. You do your homework. We're sat next to each other. We're both working. So it's not like me, I'm dancing to Davido and singing and chatting with my friends on the phone, and she's trying to work. So, that's part of all the support system that you're going to give your child. You don't have to know everything. If they can attend summer school in August, please, this is very important. Make sure that they do. The reason being is as soon as they come back in September is the exam. Like Kent test, I think for students living in Kent, I think the date for the Kent test is 7th of September. So imagine they're resuming in school like this, bam, the exam hits them. So the August month, unfortunately for year 5, is not a play all through month, unfortunately. Yes, year today is September 7th. Unfortunately, they will need to put their head down and study. Yes, they can still do some play, you can balance it out, but they need to be concentrating and studying. And you cannot book a massive holiday. This is the only year ever, year 5 summer break, that you don't need to book a big holiday for your child, right? And if you do book the big holiday, then you must be ready to pack books along and set aside time for them to study. Right, so register them for summer school. We have summer school classes running. Summer school classes running at Technics Academy, and it starts on the 31st of July. The spaces are very limited. I'll put it into context for you. We have 220 year 5 parents in Technics, year 5 students at Technics Academy. We only have 30 spaces for the 11 plus summer school. I've said to my team, when that time comes, I'm going to run away, because where will I put the rest of 190 students? And the reason is we have close to 70 members of staff, but during the summer holidays, only about 15 of them would be working, because they too, they need the break. So they take the time off. So we've been going around and asking teachers who is working this summer. Only 15 of them are staying back to work this summer. So when parents start calling my phone, I will run away. That's what I intend to do, because I've been shouting, screaming on social media, register your child now, register your child now. The spaces are limited. Do you know is in fact outside parents, not Technics parents, outside parents that are registering their children for summer school. So what about the Technics parents? I think they think it's just automatic that their child will get a space on the summer school, and it's not the case. You need to opt into the summer school. Tell us your child will be attending the summer school, and we'll tell you how much it's going to cost you, and we'll put their name down. So a lot of parents are leaving it till last minute. I will not pick up my phone, please. I know how these things roll, right? So anyway, that's how it rolls. So if you need a space for your child on the on our summer school program, send an email to admissions. Let me send the email. Let me put the email in the comment section. admissions@technicsacademy.com without any delay. Look, you don't even understand the work we put into this. Like during the summer, I'm meant to be resting. That's another story. Don't worry. Be familiar with your child's proposed schools of choices, right? The secondary school, have you even thought about the secondary school you want your child to go to now? If you haven't done that, you need to start doing that. If you live in Kent, you will have to pick 4 schools. Medway, I think you have to pick 6 schools. And in the order of preference that you want to have the schools to go in. So start to look into open days, open evenings, so you can go and see some of these schools with your child so that they know which school they want to go to. You have to be familiar with those schools that you propose. There are 163 grammar schools in England, and each one of them have their own admissions policy. In fact, each school, either grammar school or not, every single school on their website have their admissions policy. So whatever 4 schools or 6 schools or 5 schools you pick, depending on how many schools your local authority would allow you to pick, you need to be familiar with each one of them admissions policy. There's no point picking a school that does not take children in your postcode. What a waste of space if you pick that school. It will just be a waste of space on the list. So, but if you haven't read the admissions criteria, you won't know. You just put any school down. You just say, yeah, well, Toyosi's mom put her name down for this school. I will put it down. So no, 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 no. You have to do your homework. Sit down and read each one's admissions criteria. What about in Manchester? What about Manchester? I don't know about. I don't know. What's your question, Timmy Tokwe? What about Manchester? Please be as specific as possible. What is difference with summer school and year 5 11 plus class? Yekpa, let me explain. So all of our year 5s now, they're running their classes at the moment. Their classes will come to an end at the end of July. At the end of July, we say bye to everybody. We say, okay, go and have your summer break. See you later. Only the people who opted in for the summer school will join the summer school, right? Everybody else, they'll have August month free, and then they'll come back in September and move up to the next academic year. So if you want your child to go to the summer school, Debbie, you need to send an email to admissions asking for them to reserve a space for your child on the summer school program. Are we just only going to pay for the summer school, not the normal? Yeah, just the summer school. Up until July, you pay for the normal tuition. Then from 31st of July to 26th of August, you pay just for the summer school. Does that help you? Does that make sense? How many grammar schools are in Manchester? I don't know. Google, please, Demi talk by. I don't know. Because I live in Kent, I'm using Kent as an example. Google, look, type into Google grammar schools in Manchester. So be familiar with the child's school that you propose. Registration has opened for most 11 plus exams. Go and register now. The deadline is going to come to an end soon. And guess what? They don't accept late registration. If you like, you can speak German, French, whatever. As soon as the deadline is over, they don't accept it. Registration is free, by the way. There's no charges to register your child for the 11 plus exam. My next point is join an 11 plus parent support group. Either it's been a Facebook or WhatsApp group. They're all over the place. Search them up. Join them. And the reason when you join them is people ask questions in the group and they always come up with stuff, and that will keep you updated, seeing how things go. So for you, for instance, Temi Tokwe, I would look for maybe 11 plus parents group in Manchester if there's one, right? I'll look to join one of those groups or any 11 plus parents group on Facebook, to join those groups to be able to see what other parents are saying, right? Do you continue to teach the 11 plus because we're in the 11 plus at the moment? I never knew this. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. We will continue to teach 11 plus until the end of July, right? As soon as the end of June, in fact, all the year groups, not just year 5, all the year groups, will teach them until the end of July. We'll then have the August month free. The August month, everybody goes away, they go on holiday, whatever it is they want to do with their time. Then they come back in September and they move to the next academic year. We automatically move them to the next academic year. But if you want to stay back for summer school, if you want your child to stay back in the August month, you need to let us know. You need to opt in into the summer school. Now, the next thing I put on my list is track your child's grades and percentages. Do you know that at Techlis Academy, every single child has a tracking sheet? The tracking sheet was sent, the link for the tracking sheet was sent in your welcome email, and we requested that you bookmark. Basically, you save that link so you can always refresh that link and see on a monthly basis how your child is getting on. On your child's tracking sheet, you'll be able to see for each assessment is set once a month. You'll be able to see what the percentage they scored for each subject. You'll be able to see the top topics they struggled with and the topics that they did well on. So monitor their grades. And if you're using like Bond Online, for instance, you'll be able to see and monitor their grades as well across the weeks that they do it. I've talked about signing up for Bond Online. Reward your child's efforts, not results. I'll repeat this again. Reward your child's effort, not results. I have seen a lot of parents. I've seen, even in my own ears, they say it's right next to me. If you pass the 11 plus exam, I'll buy you iPhone. Absolute rubbish. Absolute nonsense. You hear me? Because you shouldn't be rewarding results. Because either way, these children would have worked hard. Either they pass the exam or not, they would have worked hard. So actually, you should be rewarding them if they've been putting effort into their work, right? So don't reward them for passing the 11 plus exam, because sometimes passing that exam is beyond the child's control. There's so many factors that might stop a child from passing the exam on the day. Some children, they just have serious anxiety on the day and they don't perform as well as they should do. Some children, it might be even you that would upset them that morning and they won't perform well as they would do in the exam. Some children, they weren't given breakfast before they went to write the exam. So they got distracted because they were hungry in the exam hall. Some children go through bereavement during that exam period. There's so many factors. So you can't just base it on results. If you pass the 11 plus exam, I'll get your iPhone. Please don't do that. Reward them based on their efforts. And here's the next thing I put on here. Your child's best will be enough. As long as they've done their best, irrespective of what the results say, their own best will be enough. All right. I mean, do you teach them for the 11 plus in August summer school, or is it all we teach them the 11 plus in August summer school? Yes. Right. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Debbie. The next thing, ensure your child writes at least 2 mock exams to have the exam experience. This one is so important to make sure they write a mock 11 plus exam. What is a mock 11 plus exam? An exam that looks like the real exam but is not, and it's private institutions, private tuition centers that run this mock exam. Technics Academy do not run formal mock exams yet. My advice is the mock exam should be a face-to-face mock exam so they can get the actual feel of the exam. Let me share my experience with my own daughter. So I booked Michelle for a mock exam, right? And for some parents might be asking, where do I book for the mock exam? Right. So go on to Google and just type in 11 plus exam and then add the area that you live in, and you should be able to see some options, because you don't want to be doing a mock exam in Essex when you live in Kent. So just check your local area, what mock exams are available. Anyway, I booked Michelle for mock exam. On the day, Michelle was shaking. She was nervous. She cried, Seth. Imagine if I waited, if I didn't do a mock exam and she had all these emotions on the actual exam, it would have affected her results. She was crying, she was shaking, she was nervous. The night before, she kept saying, Mom, I'm so worried. I said, don't worry. Don't, as much as I tried to encourage her, to let her know everything, she was still anxious. She was anxious. I wish I took her video when she was crying. I didn't. When she came out of the exam, she was smiling, she was laughing. She said, Mom, if I knew it was going to be this accessible, I won't worry so much. I said, well, at least you've seen now. So when it comes to the exam, you won't be shaking like a leaf. So exam can be very challenging for the kids. It can be very worrying, because again, they don't want to let you down. They're worried. And for some of them, this is their first proper major exam outside of school. Remember, some of them, they will get to do it inside of the school, but it's an external exam. It's nothing to do with the school. Bibi said, how often a week are summer classes? Okay, so for every other year group, it's 3 times a week, Monday to Wednesday. But for year 5, is Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. I think it's from 10:30 to 2, but they'll have a break in the middle. And it's 4 weeks. The program runs for 4 weeks, but you can decide to sign up your child for just 1 week, for just 2 weeks, for just 3 weeks, or for all of the 4 weeks. Michelle is doing all of the 4 weeks. However, she has like 8 weeks of school holiday. So don't feel sorry for her. So she'll have 4 weeks of downtime, chill time, but she'll have 4 weeks of 11 plus preparation. Right. So the next thing I put there is remove screen time during the week. So a parent said to me, Tutu, it's easier said than done. Yeah, how can I remove screen time? I was laughing. She said it's not possible. Who said so? Get rid of all of it and give it to charity. Tell me now, is it now not possible? So remove screen time during the week. That's why Michelle is balanced downstairs right now, Friday evening, because she can now go on her screen. She's so happy. But during the week, there's no such thing. There's no TV, there's no video games, there's no iPad. And on during the week, when she goes on the computer, is to do her techniques work or do her school work. Some grammar schools, hey, this is important. Oh, some grammar schools run their own separate in-house exam. So even though you've written the 11 plus exam, they still do their own internal exam. And if your child does not register or write that exam, they can't go to that school. So a good example, a lot of you know I live in Sittingbourne. There's only one girl grammar school in Sittingbourne, one girl grammar school. It's called Highstead. Now, to be able to get Michelle into Highstead, Michelle needs to write the Kent 11 plus exam. But Highstead have their own in-house exam as well that is stipulated that students have to do too. So Michelle will need to write Highstead exam as well. Because I had a parent last year who didn't know this, didn't register for Highstead exam, but their child did the Kent 11 plus exam, but their child wasn't able to, their child had to go to a school in the neighboring town. So you need to check the schools that you want your child to go to. Do they have a separate exam aside the 11 plus exam? Is there any form? Some of them will ask you to fill a different form for different reasons. Is there, some of them call it SIF forms. Is there any SIF form that I need to fill? So all of these things boils down to you getting yourself familiar with the admissions policy for each school. So if you're picking 4 schools, you have to know their admissions policy like the back of your hand, like all 4 of them. And if you're asking me, by when should I know the admissions policy? By now. By now. So if you haven't started, get started and start reading. For Folkestone Grammar, Folkestone Grammar. What about Folkestone Grammar? Like Shepway. Okay. Shepway. I'm not sure. Where's Shepway? Okay, anyway, I'm carrying on. Have a backup non-grammar school. This one is important as well. So we all want our child to pass the 11 plus exam, but what if they don't pass? Is it the end of the world? I've seen a lot in this career. Like parents will be crying when their child passed the 11 plus exam. They'll call me, they'll be crying like someone died. Come on, come off it. Stop it. I'm telling you today, if Michelle fails the 11 plus exam, I'll come on social media and tell all of you myself that she failed. Like Bashiri Niel, that's how we saw it, right? It's not the end of the world. Why? Because I've taught in comprehensive school and I know there are some really good comprehensive schools as well. I just need to do my research. So whilst you're chasing these grammar schools and trying to get your child into a grammar school, can you also research some good comprehensive schools as well that they can still go to if things don't go according to plan? Listen, my plan for my year 5 students is not for them to fail the 11 plus exam. That's not, why would I be staying up this late to do all of this? In fact, I want all of them to pass. But I'm a realist as well, that some children might not pass this exam and it's not the end of the world. Last year, 85% of our year 5 students passed the 11 plus exam. This year, we want to push it to 90%. And we've been putting a lot of strategies into place to make that to happen. But I'm still saying that some children might not pass the 11 plus exam. It's not the end of the world, number one. Number two, they can still go to a good comprehensive school, but you should have done your due diligence beforehand. And don't forget, there's also 13 plus. So please don't come here and cry. Nobody died. I don't like it. It's not the end of the world for that child. Oh, and some parents will even go as far as, what will my friends say? All of our children are twins, they passed. Well, I'm telling you facts here. My neighbor, a child passed, so she'll be showing her shoulder pad to me. And my own parents take it, they take it personal now. It's your child's life. Don't live your life through your child's life. The fact that they failed the 11 plus exam is not the end of the world. Stop it. And you're making it worse, because when those children see you being upset because they failed, they even feel more, they feel like a failure. Come on, stop it. Honestly, I get very annoyed with that. So anyway, plan. Have another school that is not a grammar school, 1 or 2, ready in the pipeline that they can go to. I even said to Michelle, the comprehensive school that I used to teach in, I said to Michelle, I said, if you don't pass your 11 plus exam, you go to that comprehensive school, because I know they really try. The only difference is that comprehensive schools, sometimes there can be a lot of distraction, but there's still good comprehensive schools around. So why would you cry because your child didn't get into grammar school? Pass mark varies depending on each local council. Pass mark varies, right? So, but the rough guide is whilst your child's preparing with these exam practice papers, use 85% pass mark. So if your child is on like 70% right now, 60 something percent, that's fine. Just gradually work their way up to 85%. You want to be on 85% mark or above to be on the safe side. That's what we say to our Technics Academy students. We want them to be 85% or above. This will be a joint partnership between you and your child. They can't do it without you. They need your support. You're going to be their rock. You're going to be their backbone. You're going to be their support system. But it's going to be very, very worth it. They just need to be in the right environment. So which environment have you put your child in? Have you put them in a place where they can thrive? Have you put them in a place where there's structure like we do at Technics Academy? I've been doing this 11 plus for the last 7 years. I've been teaching for 13 years, but it's only in the last 7 years I dabbled into 11 plus preparation, and I've been working tirelessly. I mean, I am a published author of 3 books, 3 maths books. So do go onto our website, Technics Academy. Do get a copy for your child. I have a book for preschoolers. I have a book specifically for year 5. I have a book for primary school education from year 3 to year 6. And guess what? In 2 weeks, I'm going to be publishing a book specifically for year 4. So I'm super excited about that. So send them to us. If you haven't got a place for your child to do their classes now, send them to us. In fact, the year 5 classes, as soon as they're full, we're not taking on any new class students. Enroll for more than one 11 plus exam, but don't do more than 3. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. So as I mentioned earlier, Michelle's going to be writing the Kent test, but she's also going to write the Medway test. And Medway is the neighboring town to us. As much as I don't necessarily want her to go to a grammar school in Medway, if she doesn't pass the Kent test, at least I know that option is there. Plus, this is where you also have to do your due diligence. Some schools in Medway specifically, they will take students who wrote either the Kent or Medway. They don't mind whichever of the 2 tests. There's only about 2 or 3 schools that does that, right? So I'm like, okay, so let's do more than 1. I say this every year, and some parents will still register their child for 1 exam, and then we'll now be looking at each other on the results day. I say, but I told you, register for 1. They say, I didn't remember. Oh, okay. Don't let anyone put you down or shame you for wanting the best for your child. I've realized that sometimes in the community, they make people feel like, you're doing too much. They make parents feel like you're too pushy. Be careful. I mean, there's a thin line between being pushy, and I've seen pushy parents that have put them in their place before. I've told them, you're being extra pushy for this child, and it's going to be detrimental to this child in the end. You need to stop it. I get it. Don't worry. I've seen both worlds, right? But there's a difference between being the extreme African parents, extreme British parents. Why don't you come in the middle, right? Okay. Don't be too pushy, but at the same time, don't let anyone make you feel bad for wanting the best for your child. So because you want scholarship for your child, they'll be like, you're doing too much. Please let them let you do too much. Tell them to leave you alone, right? Because you want the best, because you ask the teachers for your child's grades, you want a breakdown, you want to understand how they're getting on. Please, but you just have to find a good way of coming across the teachers as well, so that you don't come across overbearing. I'm talking about schools now, So, but don't let anybody shame you for wanting the best for your child. I beg. Our journeys are different. Our stories are different. Some of us came here with 20 pounds in our pockets, right? 20 pounds was what I came here with in my pocket. So you think I've come here to joke? You think whatever opportunity is available for my child, I won't give to my child? For what? No, please. So don't shame me because I want the best for my child. Don't shame me because I want my child to go to grammar school. They will even shame people because they say grammar school is all rubbish. It shouldn't be the case. It's only the privileged kids who go to grammar schools because they're the ones who can afford tutoring for their child. I beg, that's not your problem. So, okay, you want the best for your child, period. Go for the best for your child. Trust the process, and the process will work for you. You can have the best coach in the world, but if you don't trust the process, it would not work for you. I'm telling you, because your mindset will just be like, will this thing work? Will it work? Will it work? But if you have a mindset that it would work, even your own steps, the way you go about things will align with things working, right? Let me get a whoop whoop in the house. Thanks, sis. April in the house. I'm following in your footsteps, April. So applications to secondary school intake will normally open. Okay, so the local council, year 5 parents in the house, can you let me hear you? Year 5 parents in the house, put your hands up in the comment section. Let me hear you. Year 5 parents, at the beginning of September, your local council will write you. Your local council will write you and say that pick schools for your child. Some local councils will say pick 4 schools. Some will say pick 5 schools. The highest I've seen is 6 schools, right? Ngozi, Yetunde, Folakemi, okay, Adenike, the year 5 parents. So September, get ready. They will write you, email, letter, I don't know, depends on how your local council communicates with you. They'll write you and they'll say you're in Kent. They'll say pick 4 schools. Here's my advice. So the deadline to pick the 4 schools will be around October time. I beg, don't pick the schools yet. But know, which phone is ringing? Know the schools in your head. I will write it down. Already have an idea what those 4 schools are going to be. But I beg, don't complete that application yet. Please, don't complete. The reason is the results for the 11 plus exam. You know, the kids will write the 11 plus exam in September. The result for the 11 plus exam will come out in October. Maybe 2nd or 3rd week in October, which will leave 1 week about deadline before you enter the school names. That's fine. If your child passes the 11 plus exam, you just carry yourself onto the platform for the council. You enter 4 grammar schools, but hopefully you've done your research or you know which grammar schools would accept your child. You're not just putting any random grammar schools. You've read the admissions criteria. You know it's likely your child will get in. You put it in the order of preference. The very one that they're likely to get in, the first one, you put it there. So if they pass the exam, the only schools you put there is grammar school. Don't even bother to put comprehensive school on the list. Because if you do, you've given the local council the power to say, yes, sir, my child passed the 11 plus exam, but I don't mind. You can send them to comprehensive. And so they might do that. So if your child passed the exam, do not put comprehensive school on the list. You understand? Now, if your child didn't pass the exam, we'll now sit down, we'll talk. If your child didn't pass the exam, what options are available first? How far were they from the cutoff mark? Can we appeal? What are we going to do? You know, all of those things. What comprehensive schools do you have ready on your list? Which one is going to go as number 1? We'll now diligently, I think I need another live entirely on this. And I've done another live entirely on picking schools and put the selection and everything, right? Would you agree with me? Would you agree? So yes, so that's the key, because most parents will rush and put the schools, then the results will come out and the result does not align with the schools that you've put down, right? So Kent parents will be able to name 4 secondary schools. Any grammar schools you apply for will consider your application, but this does not guarantee your child will be offered a place. Let me tell you the secret behind this. The schools are oversubscribed. The grammar schools, they're oversubscribed. 3,000 kids might pick one school and only 150 spaces might be available. Do you understand the pressure? Right? 150 spaces and 3,000 children pick that same school. So your first choice school on the list is super important, because some schools, they don't even look at students who put them down as second choice. They didn't even get to that point because they're too busy. Their hands are too full. So the first choice you pick, it has to be, you have to almost be 90%, 100% sure that your child will get into it the first choice based on the admissions criteria. Admissions criteria, some of them will say, we don't take children outside of this mile radius. We don't take children in this postcode. We don't. They say they don't take children in ME5, and you're in ME5 and you put that school down as your first choice. You know that's gone. So now the school that you put down as second choice, maybe that would have been the ideal school for your child. But because it's second choice, that school, they didn't even pick up, they didn't even look at your child's application at all, because they were too busy trying to deal with the people who picked them for first choice. Please, am I making sense? Maybe I'm not making sense, because I'm trying to pass a point across here, but I might not be making too much sense. We have one close to us, so what do I do? Others are far away. So the one close to you, you check the admissions criteria, you read the admissions criteria, you make sure your child has a good chance of getting in, then you put them as first choice if that's the one closest to you. Again, what does the admissions criteria say? Some admissions criteria will say if you have a sibling, you have a good chance of getting in, right? If you're in this postcode, you have a, some will say by faith. Some will say if you go to this church, if you're Catholic based, right? Okay. All right. Thank you. Catchment is important. Thank you, yesterday. That's the word. If your child is not offered a place at the school, you'll be able to appeal to a panel. If your child has not tested, here's another one that happens. Oh, the child did not test for 11 plus. You didn't even register them for 11 plus. Then you put grammar school on the list. So what are you expecting? A magic to happen? Your child didn't write the 11 plus exam, but you put that's when you see they'll go and throw your child in one school. So as much as when I did a live a while ago in a group, the group, like, it had many, I won't say the kind of parents he had in there, but yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, why are you talking about this? Parents don't have, I did a live. I was like, how to get a place for your child in secondary school, how to get the place of your choice. And they're like, you're telling them wrong. It's not the decision, it's not the parent's decision which school their child is going to go. Is the local council who's going to decide where their child is going to go. And I'm like, yes, I get it and I agree. Is the local council that will have the final decision what school they place your child. However, if you do your due diligence, you can influence that decision in the way that you want it. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah. Yes, the local council will decide, but you can help them with that decision because you've done your homework, you've done your background homework, you've done your due diligence. So you just be looking at them like this when is in March. So in March, they will then contact you and tell you which school your child got placed in. Obviously, if your child is going to an independent school, you don't need all of this stress, right? You just choose which independent school your child is going to go to. Things to consider before the exam. Being grammar assessed in Kent. Let me give you an example. Being grammar assessed, if they say your child is grammar assessed, it means they passed the 11 plus exam. So being grammar assessed in Kent, it does not guarantee your child a place in Kent Grammar School. So again, I've seen children who passed the 11 plus exam, but they didn't get a place in grammar school. When that happens, it's because their parents did not do their due diligence. It's either they picked the schools too early, they picked the schools before the result came out, right? Or they went to pick schools that their child has no business going to, their child has no chance going to, right? Many children will find the exam difficult, right? Grammar schools in Kent provide for children in the top 25%. Let me move on. If you live outside the area, for instance, if you live outside Kent, you can still register your child for the Kent test. But it's just that the dates that your child will write the 11 plus exam will be different to the dates that the children who live in Kent write the exam. If your child has special needs, they can still write the 11 plus exam. It's just that you need to declare when they're asking questions about SCN, you need to tell them exactly what special needs your child has. All right. And so the whole point is so they can provide some support, because some kids with special needs, they'll get a writer, they'll get a scribe, depending on what special needs that they have. Right. Some of them will get extra time. So let me give you an example. So again, I'm speaking for Kent. I'm not speaking for Manchester. If you're in Manchester, go and Google Manchester and find out. If you're in Buckinghamshire, go and Google Buckinghamshire and find out. Just go on to Google and type in the 11 plus exam for Buckinghamshire. So for Kent test, me as a mom, I've gone to check. So this is your own assignment. You need to go and check. The Kent test is multiple choice and they have a separate answer sheet. The test is going to be automated. It's going to be marked automatically. Like there's a machine that will mark it. The first test will be an English and maths paper, and it will take 1 hour. Each section will involve 5 minutes practice exercise followed by a 25 minutes test. So that's the maths and English. Then the second test will be a reasoning paper. One is for verbal reasoning, one is for non-verbal reasoning. Then there's a writing exercise, which will not be marked. That's for Kento. But now if I register for Medway, I have to do the same thing again. Read how Medway tested. Medway will say there's a writing task, but they're marking the writing task, and the writing task covers up to 40% of the whole exam, right? So I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'm addressing the points you made, not to pick other comprehensive schools with grammar school, considering she's going to pass the exam. Yes, so wait for the result will come out in October, Debbie. Wait for the result to come out. If they pass like this, just grammar schools. What happens if child passes? You put only grammar school, no comprehensive, but there are no spaces in grammar school as they pick people with higher scores. So do your due diligence. Which school is the closest to your house? Which school is most likely for them to go to? Because if they then don't take them, baby, if they don't take them and yet they pass the 11 plus exam and the school is close to you, you meet most of the admissions criteria. That's a good reason to then put your appeal in, right? But if you put only grammar school, they will have no option. They will be fighting. They will have no option. They will be contacting. It's the local council that will be going around and contacting those grammar schools to say, this one, no, there's nowhere to put her. Oh. She passed. One of you have to take her. But if you go and put comprehensive on the list, whilst they're going around the grammar school, each grammar school is like, we don't have space. They'll say, well, the parents put comprehensives. They'll just go and drop the child in the comprehensive school. But when you put grammar school, the chances of them going outside of that is very limited. Just do your due diligence with how you order those schools, right? In terms of priority. Does my winter born get disadvantage when marking the 11 plus? They already take this into factor, but it's only a slight difference. So the younger children, they give them certain slightly advantage, but it's only slight. Trust me, I won't worry too much about it. Can children receive the 11 plus exam? No. These are good questions though. Can children receive the 11 plus exam? Let me add it to my FAQ. No, they can't. Does my winter born get disadvantage when marking? That's a good question. They don't get disadvantage. Actually, they get advantage, but it's only slight. Just prepare your child, sis. 11 plus exam because of his age. So for younger children, those of you who have younger children, my advice is this: start early. Start as early as possible. We have classes from preschool at Technics Academy. Start as soon as possible. Ensure they know all of their times table. By the time they finish year 2, they should know all of their times table. Because how can I teach your child ratio when they don't know their 7 times table? Because I want to teach ratio now, and I'll say 63 divided by 9. Hey, your child will now spend 10 minutes trying to work out 63 divided by 9. By the time they find the answer for 63 divided by 9, they don't even remember which part of the ratio question we're on anymore. Everything is now confusing. So times table is key. Reading is key. Read. Ensure your child is reading at least 30 minutes every day. Read. Start from very early age, right? Make it into a habit for them. Ensure your child is making expected progress or more. for your child to have a good chance of passing the 11 plus exam, they should be unexpected at school or more. A child that is working below expected, it's not that they can't pass, oh, but it's going to be a struggle. So from the very, like from year one, they've told you your child is working below expected. How come your child is still working below expected up to year six? How come you didn't do anything about it from year one to correct it and fix it? Don't you know that if they struggle now, they will continue to struggle for the rest of their academic journey, right? Ensure your child is making expected progress or more. What do we start with? I don't understand that question, but start with, I don't understand, sis. I don't understand that question. I'm addressing the point. I've answered you. What happens? I've answered you. I've answered that question. Where do you start? My own thing is register your. This is the thing. I remember when I was growing up back home in Nigeria, my parents they registered me for tutoring classes. Like, so I don't understand why parents, when it comes to registering tutoring now, maybe because we're in the UK, you just assume the UK educational system is perfect. So there's no reason. I don't know. But like I did tutoring all my school like life. And it wasn't because we didn't have grammar schools, but my parents and they still sent me to a private school. They were paying for the school. Well, it's command private school, but we still pay school fees. So it's private. So they didn't say, "Oh, I'm already paying for tuition. Why should I be?" They felt like, a child can do with that extra support. And that's what we do at Technics Academy. That's what our life is all about at Technics. Let me tell you what happened today. One of my students, this was a funny conversation. Miss April, I'm going to put this on social media soon. So my student said to me, Miss, if you're asked to quit your job and get 10 million pounds, or carry on working, doing what you're doing now, what would you do? I said, I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. I didn't even blink an eye. I'm like, 10 million. I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. And she said, wow. So, Miss, you will let go 10 million pounds. And I was thinking, I was actually reflecting on what you were saying. And that just confirmed to me, I mean, the right thing. I mean, in my passion, I'm in my lane. I'm where I should be. 10 million is not a small money. I am tired. My body is aching right now, but I wouldn't be anywhere else right now, guys. So that's why I'm saying, like at Technics, we've built this structure that we're the one-stop shop when it comes to your child's learning. Like you cannot go wrong. Like, do you know how many meetings I do in a day to make sure your children are getting the right support? Do you know how many enough said? Is this weird? Akoni asked me this today. No, I don't understand. No, it's not weird, but I just don't understand the question. What do we start with? You start with signing up your child with the people who know what they're doing. And that's Technics. Like I'm not even trying to pitch or sell you. If you join one of our webinars right now, some of the classes they're full. There's no spaces in some classes again until September. So actually, at this point, it's no more a matter of selling. It's not a matter of you want to register your child. You want the best for your child. You don't want. So, but find a tuition center that you trust their process and put your child in that process and let them do the job for you. We've done it several times. What will take you 5 years, it will take us 2 years, right? But the thing is, don't bring your child to me 2 weeks to the exam. My team still sent me an email yesterday. They said a lady said her daughter has 13 plus exam in the next 2 weeks. Can they sign? I said, sign her up where? We don't do last minute. We don't do last minute. Start early. Start early. I turned that away. What magic will I be able to work in 2 weeks? Like, how will I do it? So I preach starting early, starting as early as possible. Do you have any questions? Because I think I've gone through everything. Listen, what I've built at Technics Academy is it was built around Michelle. I don't know if some of you have listened to my story before. Michelle is my why for Technics Academy. So if I build something for my child, trust me, it's good enough for your child. And that's because, as you moms know, we all want the best for our children, right? I've never seen a mom that wants bad things for a child. So we want the best for your child. So you can imagine building something that would work for her. Trust me, if she's taking her classes just like Bibi's children. Bibi's children are taking classes, and so is my Michelle taking classes. I'm not the one taking her. Is the teachers at Technics Academy teaching her, just like they teach your own child. They're the one taking her. If she doesn't do her homework, they will ring me. If they would email me. If she doesn't turn up to lesson, they're chasing me with phone call, the front desk team. So it's not only you guys going through this. When you say Technics is calling me again, what do they want? They do it to me too. Because I built something that even if my child does not go to any school and all she's doing is tutoring, she will still be good. She'll still be better off. So imagine building that and having my child in mind, knowing that your child will also benefit from it. I don't know how best to put it into words. No, Akoni asked me if I'm going to sell April Laugh Fitness at some point. Why would you sell that, sis? For 10 million. I'm not letting go of April for 10. Exactly. I feel exactly the same way with Technics Academy. I feel exactly the same way. My question on starts now. We started early with Technics Academy. What should we do? You don't need to do anything differently now, sis. April, you're doing really well. You started Flow from age 2. You started Brian. Brian's like been 3 years that Brian's been with us. So you started, that's all you need to do. Don't worry. Once Brian gets to year 3, we start teaching him verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning. We start preparing for 11 plus exam. All we need from you is do your due diligence, do the homework, check the school. Sis, April, check the schools around your area, check the independent schools, check the scholarships that is available, check the grammar schools around your area. I doubt there are any grammar schools in your area. So you're left with independent schools. Start to do your research. Some of these independent schools, the criteria is very long. Start to work on those things. Start to build up bit by bit. And the plan is for all of us, all of our children to succeed. That's the prayer. So we know, by no doubt, with all of our efforts, joint efforts with the children, they will make progress and they will succeed. Boys are struggling with creative writing. Any tips? Sign them up on our creative writing class. That's the tip I have for you. There's no other tip. Sign them up on our creative writing program. I don't know anything else that I can tell you aside that, right? But thank you all so much for coming today. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you have any questions, let us know. Let me type in the email address of our front desk team again. Email them for anything. They'll jump on it and answer your questions. They're very good like that. They're nicer than me. I've never seen a bunch of fantastic individuals like them. So email them and say, tell me more. Or if you want to inquire about summer school, tell them your child's year group. Are you a current parent of Technics? Let them know. Current parent of Technics, or you're outside of Technics, let them know. They'll be able to help you. I hope this has been helpful. Can you let me know in the comment section? I'm not getting any questions. Does that mean I've answered every question around this topic? Has this been useful for you? Has this been useful? Has this been worthwhile? But I'm going to round up very soon now. I'm ready to check out. My daughter is struggling with maths and nonverbal. Please, how are you a Technics parent for Lakemi? Kathleen, once my son is in year 4, we'll be joining. Don't wait. Once your child's in year 4, join now. Kathleen, hey. Ngozi, yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you found it useful. Folakemi, so the answer is no. So sign them up at Technics. Send an email to that email address. Tell them you want to sign up your child. We'll help them with their maths and nonverbal reason. Leave it to us. We'll sort them out. Thank you, sis. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, April. Folakemi, join us ASAP. Kathleen, Don't wait about. Please join now. Don't wait till year 4. Join now. My daughter struggles with maths. One-to-one, Yetunde. I know your daughter. Get her one-to-one. Book one-to-one every single week for your child. On the specific, check their tracking sheets, what topics they struggle with, and book one-to-one every single week for them. Have a lovely evening, everyone. You've all been amazing. You're all fantastic parents. Even you coming on live just because of this, you're already the top 25% amazing parents, because you want to help your children and you want to get more information on how to help them. So have a lovely evening. Have a fantastic weekend. God bless you all. She's writing the exam. Okay, no problem. Sign her up, Folakemi. Sign her up with us as soon as possible. Have a lovely one, everyone. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye.